Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bahrain. Why cannot I hear anything? Ah, there we go. All right. Well, one moment. Okay. So let's do some laps and some quali in 3 minutes and some race in 15 minutes. So I'm fiddling around a little bit on the secondary monitor with chat because I realized that the YouTube chat like kind of filters 10% of your messages, so I cannot respond to that while driving, but I can see them later. So I hope this will work better now. Okay. This is still quite quiet. Okay, I think it's all set. And we can go and do one practice lap. Well, I did some practice before in the test server. And a couple of setup clicks because my Fuji setup... Oof, that was a full battery issue. With the LMH car, big rear snap in the braking. So I fixed one or two issues. For some reason I had kind of high packers. Why is this volume? Silly Logitech, like the volume on the headset kind of just instantly readjusts to very low. Well, I hope that was just a temporary glitch and it's gonna be fine. Yeah, Kyle, potentially. So I have kind of two chats now, one from YouTube and I just opened one from Streamlabs, and I hope that it's gonna be alright. So we have kind of extremely low temperatures here, like it's 30-degree air temp and then only 23 temp, only, what did I say, 24.3 track temp, which means that the tires are really not wanting to go up to the correct temperature window, and the front is not gripping and the rear is kind of not wanting to accelerate and so on. So I think the quali session, well, actually it's better if I just escape here. Well, I am stopped, come on. Where is my calculator? Did I touch my camera? I did. So it's gonna be 12-minute quali session. I don't even know how much fuel I need, to be honest. I forgot to check the... Anyway, I'll just put this to 12 minutes. Could be 6 laps, and if that's times 3, let's say 20 liters. And then I just keep driving until empty. Hi, hyperdrives. Well, looking forward to this session or this event. because I think, well, I've been driving the Peugeot for quite a long time, but only today I kind of realized a couple of things with brakes. Not saying that I'm gonna brake better today, but it's not gonna be as bad as it would be. At Fuji it was really weird with the brake bias and brake migration. I was kind of locking the rears, actually locking the fronts initially and then locking the rears later on in the corner, even with zero migration. Migration kind of helps with inducing less front lock-up later in the corner, so I could not even fix it. But for today it's kind of different, like other way around. I kind of lock up the rear initially. Well, not on full battery, where the rear is always locking, like now. But then the front just locks up, and maybe it's because of the low track temps. Yeah, that virtual energy versus fuel ratio. Well, it's not tricky, but one needs to take 5 minutes and think through it, and then it's all clear. But it's difficult to think of it while driving. But yeah, it's kind of adding fuel and then adding virtual energy, so it kind of goes together at the same time. The less fuel you require, the less virtual energy will burn, and so on. And yeah, it's for sure the simplest way to manage things, to just always keep the fuel ratio exactly at the required number, because the car will always burn kind of the same ratio between the same ratio of fuel to energy. But yeah, I was quite confused about it initially. Well, initially LMU didn't even say fuel ratio, it was just saying energy and fuel, and it was even more confusing. So this is the first quali lap, but well, tires are 57, 53. It's gonna take quite some time at any temperatures. Yeah. I want to brake more, but I can already start feeling a little bit of front lock-up. Good afternoon, Joao. And of course, I didn't greet you guys at the start well enough, so hello Mario, hello Pete, hi Charles, and hi Kyle. So, yeah, I don't know how to bring the temperature into the tire actually. I mean, I know how to lock up and how to over-rotate the steering wheel and stuff like that, but I kind of want to warm up the tires within 3 laps and then still have fresh tire to push on without scrubbing it off. And the front is just not biting. Feels like Verstappen at Baku. Just that at Baku they supposedly struggled with thermal deg for whatever reason, even though there is no fast corners. And here we will basically have no thermal deg, or very little, unless the temperatures rise during the race. It's kind of sunrise conditions. 45.5 required for the pole. Well, that's gonna be 46 for me now. And I have 3 more laps. That turn 2 apex curb is so much nicer now that I removed the packers. Well, the corner packers. The third is quite important to have still. Yeah, the front just doesn't want to front. Maybe I have to add a bit of rear ARB. Although the rear is not super stable either. Hey Elton, I'm thinking between BMW and Toyota. Although BMW is more interesting maybe, because since it's LMDH and Peugeot and Toyota are LMH, so it's a bit of a different challenge. Yeah, Alpine. I wanted to check the Alpine, of course, when thinking of it. But maybe a little bit of BMW and then Alpine when it releases. But I don't know when is the release date. And about Cadillac at Fuji, well, you're not far from the truth. But the Cadillac at Fuji in real life died exactly like it would die in Le Mans Ultimate. Same kind of snap into overcorrection. And then a lock up towards the barrier. Come on, is this enough for pole? Should be. It is. And we have one more attempt. It's a bit too early on brakes and hit the apex curb at turn 1 too early. So exit was worse. Another missed apex. Much better than last lap here. That was quite understeery. That was nice. Well, another provisional pole, but let's see how much others improve. Oof. Well, not many high-speed corners, but I get out of breath quite quickly with this qualifying. The car is not easy on the limit. Alright. Hi Alex. Hi Colin. Wait, where did Alpine finish at Fuji? I just checked the highlights very quickly, so I missed the details. Third, actually third by Alpine. That's really good. Well, that could mean that in LMU the BOP will make it competitive, kind of, because LMU, oh, this beeping, this is such a Bahrain feature still in LMU. But yeah, like, if car is fast in real life, then it's gonna be fast in LMU as well, but if it's slow in real life, it's gonna be slightly off pace in LMU. Although this Peugeot is quite competitive, I think. So, we got the pole in the end. And look at that variety of cars at the top. And we were all within a couple of tenths. Both LMH and LMDH. That Cadillac in hands of Daniela is quite fast. And BMWs. Interesting. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying them out. I think I should really try out the BMW instead of Toyota. Even though it's gonna be for a short time. I don't know where the next release is. Maybe end of September. So 1 minute to go. It's gonna be one pit stop, but it's gonna be a bit short. I think I have calculated the total laps before. 51. And then, I mean, I have the tiny pedal plugin, so maybe I should fully trust it today. So let's see for this quali session. How much fuel did they burn? 3.1. I mean, no, I'm just gonna trust the plugin. I would need to recalculate it to virtual energy because it's not shown in Motec. Hi Jose. Thank you, Colin. Even a unicycle would be fast in Brambilla's hands. Well, would be fun to watch Daniele driving a unicycle. The other Alpine got the Peugeot. I have to watch the highlights. Erratic, what? Come on, stop scaring me. Out of line. What? Don't give me a drive-thru for this. Anyway, full motor map. Ready for the start. We are wheel spinning because there is no tire temperature. Can I cover? I will cover the inside. Toyota crazy on the brakes around the outside. He will defend instantly. Yeah, there is no way. In real life it would be nice move around the outside, I think. But in LMU and RF2 there is no grip around the outside in turn 4. And Mr. Malik has been historically quite aggressive, so for the time being I slot behind. Let's see if the Toyota is slow on the straights like it was at Fuji. Slight frame drops, like always. I hope stuff stabilizes soon. At least no night lighting, because that would destroy the FPS. We are all struggling to get any grip on the front tires. Oh dear, that's the Ferrari complaining that started in P2. That's shame. Would be a nice racing against the Ferrari as well. Struggling with this corner, so much bouncing. I guess I have not optimized the suspension to hit all the bumps there in kind of a high-speed corner. So let's see the lap times. Yeah, it's this graph here, or this chart is showing the best lap time, again, not the latest one, because I unfortunately forgot to update it. Yeah, I'm gonna trust the brake migration today into that hairpin. I don't want to change the brake bias every single lap. Well, we are pulling away from Brambilla in the Cadillac. The Toyota behind is not trying to kill me into every corner, which is nice. But P1 is fast. About fuel saving, it's a good question. I don't really want to fuel save much, because second stint is under fuel anyway, but I've noticed that the brakes are overheating, Like they're both front and rear going above 900, which is perfect for F1 car, but not really good for an LMU or like LMH or LMDH. So it might be better to lift and coast a bit, like they do in real life. That means a bit less locking on front and rear, less tire wear, less fuel consumption. And the Toyotas are really fast through that section in the end of Sector 2. Did I see some of the hypercars locking? You mean in the real life at Fuji? At the brake ducts, the rear is fully open, but the rear hits more than the front. Because the regen is on the front, so the front stopping power, or stopping energy, gets absorbed into the battery instead of into the brake disc hitting up, well, partly. I keep getting purple sector ones, which is nice. The tire temps are kind of getting there. And as the sun is rising, it's gonna get hotter and hotter. I think I left front duct on 25%. It would be good to know exactly at which temperature the fade begins and if it's the same on the front and on the rear. Because with 50 blanking on the front and fully open the rear, it kind of felt like still that, I don't know, that the front, as the brakes are overheated, still has more performance than the rear. Which kind of makes sense, given that the part of performance on the, like the performance fade on the front is less, because part of the performance is from the regen, and then when the rear overheats it fades more than the rear, and then the front lockups. Well, I would need 10 more races with the car anyway to fully tune it and understand for each set of, well, temperatures and rubber grip and track selection. Despite the tires now being kind of in the window already, it's a bit hard to get to the apex. Oh well, the last race that I did with the Cadillac was interesting because I didn't take any tire. And then the guy behind me who was in the Cadillac as well took the tire and then tried to overtake me, but couldn't until I detached the rear ARB to stabilize it. And I died one corner after that with a huge lockup. But let's see what happens today. I kind of expect P1 to burn through his tire and then I will be able to close in on him. I hope. Otherwise we will think of a strategy. It's difficult to be consistent with the apexes. Sometimes there is just much more grip. And then it's better to expect a bit more grip than a bit less grip in some aspect, because it's, well, better to miss the apex by 1 meter than hit it too much by 1 meter. I just don't know what line to take through there. Opening up more for better exit or attack the apex for more consistency. But oh well, this lap it's been fast. So this is going to be close to the fastest lap of the race. It actually seems to be the fastest lap of the race. Fuji, it was interesting because the Ferraris and the Toyotas all set their PBs within a couple of laps at the stint, at the start. But I kept setting my own PBs later on in the stint and started closing in on them. I'm counting on the same thing happening today. Gonna be wide. Although going wide at that corner is not as catastrophic as it was in RF2. In RF2 you really needed to take the apex curb and, well, semi-drift through it. But here you can kind of use the road elevation change, which kind of compresses you a little bit if you miss the apex and gives you extra grip. Yeah, Joao, in F1 style cars, like in Formula Sim racing, I'm always going... Oh, where was that apex? I'm always going for exit speed, or like try to stay as much to the left side as possible. So kind of U-shaping the corner, but with this car it kind of feels like you have to V-shape it to some extent. Oh yeah, Daniela is keeping up. I'm quite happy to have pulled a little bit of a safe space from P3. And I'm still getting some purple sectors. I guess the more confidence you have in the car and the better setup that you have, the more you can open up that penultimate corner and carry more speed. But if the setup is meh and if the confidence is low, then you need to attack the apex early to make it for sure. Yeah, Tah and Hamza are both incredibly quick. Actually, LMU is quite similar to ACC in some aspect. I mean, I don't really have much clue about ACC, but the front kind of feels like ACC sometimes. Especially in low speed. Not sure if I should just take the flat part of the curb or climb on the second part of it. Need to analyze what traction control does. That last corner is probably third gear, to be honest. Oh, that's a Lamborghini. Wait, where are all the GT cars? Is this LMP2 and... hypercar only? I thought I saw... I've seen some GT signups. I think there is like a bug with splits or something, and all the GT cars got sent into a different split? Or am I dreaming? Because for the practice server, all 3 classes were selectable. Did Malik do a mistake? Suddenly gained a second. Yeah, the third gear has more than enough power. But maybe for the early, like for the late entry, it's better to be in second. It's a bit wide. I need to focus. I let the the brain go slightly towards the autopilot mode, and it deployed the F1 or like GT or LMP lift and coast brake markers. And well, that doesn't work for the hypercars because they have such a long braking distance. It's a weird cut. I knew I was going to go a bit wide, but I lifted fully before going off. And I didn't go back on throttle. Yes, Hyper, focus, focus, focus. Did I distract him from braking at the correct point or what? Normally you lift early and don't lose time with going side by side. Side dirty air, of course. As if there is any dirty air and slipstream in LMU. Okay, for the hypercars there is a little bit at high speed, but well, That's because they are going fast. The rear is a bit loose out of corners. I might have to tighten up with the slip DC. Yeah, third gear is alright. For a moment I kind of wished for a bit more rotation, but overall stability was better. Purple S3. Still think there is kind of a bug with sector 3. Sometimes I just get way too many purple sector 3s for no apparent reason, although this time it was kind of alright. Well, that's some interesting thoughts, Hyper. Would be quite nice. Although I would first prefer some, I guess, well, tire model calculations. Oh well, Kyle, I mean, I keep calling it a bug, but look again, it's purple S3. But was it good? I guess it was, I don't know. I never experienced that in my career of sim racing. In many years, to just have purple sector 3s, but 1 and 2 not being purple. But in LMU I see that often. So I thought it's a bit of a bug. It's way too early. Oh, Dennis will enjoy answering that question. A bigger head pillow, Doc. Well, I have the seat reclined in quite an extreme rearwards position, so again, purple S3. It's a bug. So with, like before, I didn't really have the pillow, but then I tried reclining the seat a bit more backward, like installing an extra alley profile at the front. So it's reclined even more than what the stock holes allow, because I preferred that angle, although it's not best for the back. But I have pillows on lower back as well. And then I had to put something behind my my head, because otherwise I would be kind of pulling it forward all the time, and then that would not be good at all. Alright, Alex, enjoy the sleep, may it be a good one. Coming in hot for another purple. Why is that a... Okay. I guess I need to keep quiet and then I will keep setting purples. But the consistency of the tires is so nice. Oh, we have a little bit of LMP2 action. Yeah, about the seat inclination, it would be enough, but I couldn't make the pedals be at angle enough. Like, I needed to lean them forward, but all the sim rigs have kind of the system to make them lean towards you instead of away. Ooh. Was that a dive bomb from Malik to lap the poor LMP2? Potentially. Oh yes, James. DC, hello, good morning. I need to figure out what's going on. Like, many times I have this issue where DC just doesn't activate out of hairpins where one would expect it to activate the most. And then when it activates, it's cutting a lot. Feels like it's a bit of a bug. Sometimes I'm kind of sideways and it still isn't activating. Getting close to the lead now. Got helped by the traffic a bit. Yeah, exactly, James. But it sometimes feels like that none of them does anything. It's maybe as if the slip is already quite high going out of a corner, then TC checks if it needs to get activated and then it recognizes it's already above the threshold, so it never crosses the threshold. I don't know, I guess it's not like that. Must be checking constantly if it's above the slip or the DC longitudinal threshold, and then it activates. Although it still feels there is kind of a bug in there. But for sure there is no bug in these tires, like they just keep getting faster. That's a tricky place to get the traffic. Although LMP2 has this corner flat out, so I'm not losing much. Yeah, James, perhaps. Well, I will check the log in the Motec after the race, if I remember. Slap 20 or 19, I suppose. It's really not that bad getting stuck behind LMP2s. They have better braking performance, they have better apex speeds. I think they have better downforce to weight ratio. At least at not too high speed corners. So time to start thinking of pit stop. Six more laps and then it would be 77% refill. I'm really not sure about the tire change. Normally it's better to change all tires. I'm still getting purple sectors. Or at least, even if that's a sector 3 bug, the delta overall is quite good. And then it's 12 seconds plus, it's cold temps, so it's not easy to heat up the tire, so maybe around 15 seconds to gain. Oh, that was a slow BMW. But thank you for staying offline. Oh, David, well, I'll do my best. Now it's 80%. It cannot decide between 80 and 77. So maybe we are right between extra lap or no extra lap. But again, I don't even know how exactly Tiny Pedal calculates the time loss at the pit stop. That's those thoughts I should have before racing, not during racing, but for sure they make the racing a bit more intense and exciting. Ah, it's not taking the pit stop time loss. Alright. Don't box into me? Okay. He has burned through his tires. I wonder how much fuel he has got. Hey, Xesh, it's hard to say. I did like 2 or 3 hours of setup work on the Peugeot like a month and a half ago. And then for each race I just do like, I don't know, 3 or 4 short stints, like 5 to 10 laps. Or even shorter. And just double check if the ride heights and everything is within what I want. And then I just race it. And then many settings are just like on some placeholder values. Like I don't really touch toes and cambers, like I mean they're mostly kind of near zero anyway or on minimum. It's mostly about suspension, but you can gain or lose quite a lot. Like, I don't know, at Spa, if you just have a good setup, but then you have a lot of speed loss through Eau Rouge because of the compression. And you can fix that with some corner packers if you want, or with some other tricks. But you can easily lose like 2/10 because of that if you don't account for it. Or even like have a full downforce stall or bottoming and have unstable car. Yeah, I use Motec. I always look at the Motec. I cannot live without Motec. And I would have no idea what to click if I didn't see the graphs. Yeah, Colin, it's the same as it was in Fuji. I don't know if I'm just more gentle or if it's a Peugeot thing. But Peugeot overall it feels like a friendlier car to drive. The Toyota can be tricky out of corners with putting the power down and being a bit more sideways. 2 more laps. Yeah, about Motec, I guess I could make like a tutorial at some point. Yeah, Michi has some nice tutorials, although they are usually very in-depth and you need to take some time, but it's worth it if you want to learn. So time to look for a gap to dive for the lead. Although it maybe feels like I will need to wait for the strategy. I cannot really decide what to do with the tires. The track temp has increased, so wear will be higher in the second stint. Or rather, the thermal deck will be higher. That was close between that BMW. Yeah, James, I think that's a good decision. Oh, so we are 1 lap longer. Nice. So time for a nice overcut. Yeah, overcut can be quite good, although you can have a great overcut and gain the position, but then the car behind will just have 2 seconds per lap faster car because of hot tires. Well, that was not perfect, but I don't know, I'm still able to make PBs. Malik is changing tires, I suppose. Maybe I will have him on the strategy already. Refill, I don't know. Now it went up to 82. Okay. Well, I don't know, I'll change them all and hope for the best. Okay, luckily this beatbox is not too demanding to put it perfectly into it at the perfect angle. Well, Malik is 50 seconds behind still. I think we're all taking the tires here. Well, James, I fear... Well, losing 0.5 is not that much. It's 24 laps needed if it's a second. Yeah, well, anyway. We're going. It's a huge wheel spin. So Malik is still behind, so he must have taken the tires. it's not him, that's a Ferrari behind. And no grip. Don't kill me from behind. Well, that's one consideration that you have to take into account in LMU. If you have a car exiting the pits, you have to expect him to have new tires and zero grip. I hope I don't have too much damage on the rear. Tiny pedal is showing light or dark blue. But we have the position, so that's good. Nice drift from the Peugeot. There seems to be no repairable damage, so we should be safe. And I have two lapped cars in between, although Malik will get both of them. And he will have quarter tires. He will be on my rear in no time, and then I have to do a Piastri. Yeah, the tiny pedal damage, I don't know, like I think it's similar to RF2. And in RF2 you could have no color at all, but you would still have repairable damage. Or you could be kind of dark blue all around and actually have no repairable damage. So we have always been confused about that. It's as if the physics was taking like a certain force threshold and then doing two different things through it. Like as if there was like a general force threshold. And that would be taken to make the color. And then there would be a car specific threshold which would be taken for damage, and those two can be disconnected. And then in LMU I already had like non-blinking blue on the rear, but in fact I was missing the rear wing because I was testing this widget and I crashed on purpose. There was no rear wing, but it was only dark blue without any blinking. So I don't know, maybe there are some settings that I have to adjust in Tiny Pedal. I couldn't really see them. So it's not perfect, but yeah. Well, in fact, I am showing this Tiny Pedal damage widget exactly because of that rear wing missing damage and so on, so that I know if I'm missing something. But it's not doing the job, so I'm not really happy about it. So like, I mean, I felt the tap from behind, so yes, I know there was a contact. But that's about everything that this widget here is showing me. That there was a contact of significant force. But I don't know about the actual damage. Feels like I have overfueled by a lap. But well, I went with the safer option. And it was still enough. Yeah, exactly, James. This corner here is funny as well, because in real life they take extremely outside line on the exit, because it's the most rubbered there, and it's cambered a little bit and it offers a lot of grip. But both in RF2 and LMU there is just no grip around the outside, so you always need to kind of reshape the exit. Now that second gear is kind of forcing me to straighten the steering wheel, not to get more snapping. So Malik is 1.1 behind. Gained a little bit. Although I did do a mistake. Just notice the mouse cursor. Yeah, Pete, I'm thinking of what you've written there. And, well, actually, in many esports series that we have done, there was a rule that demanded you... Oh, that's another cut. Oh dear. There was a rule that demanded you to finish the in-lap. Even, including Le Mans Virtual Series. You always had to have enough fuel to make it back to the pits. Although the server always got restarted before you actually made it to the pit, so we never knew what to do with it. So we kind of fueled enough to have theoretical chances of reaching the pit lane. But then everyone was going pit limiter anyway on the in-lap or on the glory lap. Or whatever it's called, pull down lap, but nobody really made it to the pits. Actually, I did at Bahrain in Season 2, after winning, yeah, I remember. And then I tried to do some donuts and they were the most depressing donuts I've ever attempted. But to my defense, LMP2 has first gear so long that you can barely exit a corner, let alone do a nice donut. Well, I'm almost matching my PB, but Malik is about to catch me, so that's a bit scary. But well, that's what I expected. Surely the conditions are faster than before. Track temp 10 degrees hotter. Here we go, purple sector 3 again. But the front still will not make it into the hairpins. Maybe I'm holding the brake a little bit too much, so it's like micro locking the inside front. Need to try coasting a bit more in ACC style rather than iRacing style. Although for the broadcasts, they usually wait for like top few drivers to cross the line, or like top 10 or something. And they then instantly start showing the results and the standings and start doing interviews and stuff like that, so the in-lap is rarely really shown. How to make that front end to do something? I mean, I can try turning in more, but that will not help. And I can try turning in less, but that won't help either. My setup is already kind of optimized for hairpins. I put the nose very soft and very low and so on, so that it would take the hairpins well, and then I might be bouncing a bit more in high speed in the uphill right, but it's mostly low speed, so and I did expect a bit more bite. I just cannot make it. How is the tire wear? It's fine. And maybe it's indeed the overheating brakes. Because it does feel like effectively the bias just shifts 10% forwards in the last phase of the braking. Maybe I would need to fully close the front blanking so the front brakes would severely overheat, which would mean that the rears, well, the bias would go more towards the rear then. I just don't know how long the brakes would last that way, although for, well, 90-minute races that's not a big deal. Oh, a lot more grip than in the first stint. Well, Dennis, I suppose. But I didn't want that much of that. It's really aggressive compared to Fuji. So yeah, closing the like full blankets or like closed ducts, it means that it's not cooling, or that it's cooling a lot less. So we have the Toyota on our rear wing. But we also have the faster car on the straights, which is nice. Don't do that, don't ever do that. Lifting on the racing line. with the car right on your rear wing. Well, maybe I should have expected him to do that, but he was on the racing line, so if you're on the racing line, one is expected to just do the racing line for the whole corner. Oh well. Still in P1, still alive. Oh no, now I have a green sector free. That means that probably Malik has stolen it away from me. Or maybe somebody else boxed for fresh tires for the fastest lap. That's quite some traffic ahead. Have Mr. Talik in the LMP2. Yeah, Xesh, tactically overheating the fronts to actually... yeah. Tactically fix the brake bias. I hope I can get that LMP2 into the next corner. I cannot. That's gonna be painful. And if you wonder why I defended the inside when it felt like I was defending thin air, well, I was expecting that dive bomb that he did on the outside, but I was expecting it on the inside, so I think that was a solid decision. It's a good thing to know your opponents. Thank you, Matt. Well, I guess it would be even more bangers if I kind of turned on all the LEDs, because each button has LED, programmable LED behind it. But I felt like it's gonna distract me. Yeah, it's been one of the better prize pool winnings that I have received. It's 911 RSR replica, yes. From Grid Engineering. Well, they have the AMG F1 replica now as well, which is even more expensive. Hi William, hi Joe. Oh, that's a lot of hypercar traffic ahead. Thank you for the congrats, William. Yeah, that was a fun race. It's one way of moving away from the faster cars. I always get scared when people cut the apex to move away, because you never know if the curb will bounce them back onto the racing line. Nice, Joe. Honestly, I'm still kind of trying to think what to do with all the LEDs. It's very useful, but Well, you can just spend hours and hours playing with it. Thank you for the sub. And why is this alert box not working? I need to fix that. It is supposed to show me who subscribed, but I have the same problem as when I didn't run it. Like, it just doesn't show me. Professional streamer. Yeah, it's extremely expensive. Yeah, it would be, what was it, 2.4k euros if I bought it, but luckily I won it. Well, I thought of selling it immediately, but then it was so nice that I just had to use it. And I was just starting to stream, and then I thought that, well, maybe that's a good thing to have for streaming. Nice steering wheel. Ah, that TC problem again, it just didn't activate. The first one was in lap 20-ish. One apex, please. And then this one is in lap 40. I need to check that in Motec, what exactly happens. Because one can see the difference between filtered trays. Actually, you guys can see it in this trace here as well. Maybe I should do corners with 2 hands. Because I'm showing the filtered trace in the green, which actually shows traction control on the exits. So, like those zigzag lines here, that's TC stepping in. I hear more subs, so thank you guys for the subs. And welcome to the channel. Never sell it. Well, to be honest, I already had a problem with it. It was just this rubber on the right handle completely disintegrating. I tried not to make a huge deal out of it, so I just discreetly shipped it back to Grid, and they discreetly fixed it within a couple of days, and I already had it next week. Fully fixed and functioning. This traffic actually really helped me. Without the traffic I would have Mali eating me alive from behind. But now I still have 1 second gap. While waiting for him to Leclerc his rear tires. And about design of these steering wheels, well, there are several designs like the Lambo GT3 that's, well, a solid replica, and some other wheels. But they all, they just look weird or too extravagant or too futuristic or whatever. But yeah, this one is nice. Okay. Was afraid to have him spinning towards my line, but well, in LMU, you cannot really spin towards the apex in that way because the tires give up the grip, so you just spin into one direction from where you were coming. well about... Well, now I'm clerking the tires. Let's lock up. Yeah, I mean, it just occurred to me, like, because watching the race, I just couldn't understand why he was pushing the rears so much on the exits. Of course they're gonna destroy themselves. I was just expecting him to stay behind, preserve them, and strike later with tire advantage, but he was just going for it for so many consecutive laps, as if there was gonna be a lap where he was magically going to gain a nice exit out of last corner. Yes, Jesper, I'm doing some very nice wrestling and I wish you were here with me, but you are reluctant to start enjoying the hypercars. Not sure if the Toyota Mali has already eaten its tires, or if it's just the traffic. Well, Joe, that's probably an accurate explanation. It's really cool that they get somehow into prize pools. About the active pedals from SimiCube, I'm still yet to be fully sold on them. I had the chance to try them at the Maastricht Sim Formula Expo in January, but they were just nothing special. Although that was maybe on SimiCube themselves, failing to set them properly to impress me. Yeah, the Toyota is very tricky on the rear, out of corners, just slides so easily. So I imagine all the traction zones here are not good for it. But it's so fast in medium and high speed corners. You shaping this too much. I think I'm just inducing too much of front left micro locking and micro overheating. It's too wide. That is close. But he again lifted on the racing line. Yeah, I wonder how it is with the Toyota, because traction control in LMU is very, very good. Like it doesn't kill the lap time. Maybe a tenth or something. But at the same time it saves so much rear overheating. So I don't know, maybe the Toyota drivers are just not using TC enough. that windshield is so dirty. Still waiting for the washer fluid reservoir upgrade on LMU. Or at least for the wiper to do something. Yeah, indeed, the gap to the P2 Toyota is slowly opening up. And I really wonder about that poor P2 Ferrari that got destroyed on the start. How fast he could have been, because his quali pace was good. Does it get cleaned during a pit stop though? I mean, there is no setting to clean it or something like in iRacing, but maybe it's automatic. I never paid attention to it, to that. And then, well, Stravos about the regen strength. Well, if you turn the regen off, or if you lower it, then issue is you will just have less braking power. You can probably get a better balance, but then again the axle that has the regen just has so tiny brakes that you can overheat them way too easily, and they just don't brake. Well, what are you doing? I thought he moved away to the right, but then he just swept diagonally into my line. Well, there goes my gap to P2. I guess it would be most realistic if just the center of the vision got cleared. It would be nice if I could somehow get a 45.8 in, so I could get the bragging rights about the leaderboard, but I mean it's gonna get reset anyway tomorrow when new content week comes out, or like new combinations. I can brake quite a lot nicer or later if I V-shape the entry into that double left hairpin. Much less front left blocking, I think. Oh yes, Andy. I mean, full pit stop animations, like pit crew animations, would be really nice. Well, like we had them 20 years ago in F1 Challenge 99-02. Another purple S3, nice. But I do remember my frame drops going to 0 when the AI all selected the pit stop, and the pit crew came out, and FPS went, well, close to 0. And that old PC hardware. Actually, I don't really know how these gear offs work like for a 24-hour race. Because, well, the visibility can get pretty bad. But then if you just stick like 10 stickers on the windshield, then the visibility will gonna get bad from that. It's too early on the brakes. Or maybe just Malik went too hot into the corner. Come on, one more lap after this. I guess if I drove faster, 2 extra laps would have been possible. So a little bit of clear track. Let's see if I can... Wait, what? Ah. I didn't properly reset this thing here. And then I forgot to brake. Yeah, sorry about this one. Like, I have programmed it that I have to put it to max and then decrease it, and then it will show properly what's my map. But I didn't do it, so it said 40 for the whole race. But I was on 100, I think. Or maybe 120. But battery was correct. I mean, anyway, I don't think the car actually has space for a PB now. And that Toyota is trying everything, but not in a correct way. He will not get me if he dives on the outside. Gonna be a cut lap anyway. But oh well, we have enough cut points available. Alright, so it's indeed... Well, let's not mess up the last corner. No big dive from 1 kilometer behind, so... Here we go. That's a P1, finally, again, with the Peugeot. For one last time, because I think I'm going to switch to BMW now to check it out and get used to some more rear axle regen and deploy. And I've not really driven the BMW at all, so gonna be fun. Alright. Where is my clutch? There it is. Okay. Let's quickly check turn 1, because to see how that Ferrari got killed. Thank you for the GRs and GGs. And yeah, track position, it was especially for the Toyota, because I think I would maybe be able to overtake. But the Toyota just didn't really have that much of a straight line performance, like usually. There we go. Wait. That was not his death yet. Wait, What? Ah. Well, that was, I'm pretty sure, a regen problem. Yeah, do you hear that? The rear axle just locks up. Full battery. And then the rear goes. Combined with cold tires, that's most likely the issue. Yeah. But at the start, like, didn't he say in the chat, like, sarcastic thank you to Toyotas or something? But I didn't really see any problem there. Like, Malik on the outside just broke extremely late and really did a good job, but Ferrari just, I don't. Well, Daniele went kind of a little hot into the corner. That's never a safe thing to do, but I mean, if you're on the inside, fully along, then you're safe, and the others are screwed. And he even gave the position back. There was no malice in anything there. But it was a really good move by Taha in that place. I'm gonna look at that dive once more. And he just went for it, take it around the outside. But that's quite some front grip for cold tires. And then he fully defended because he saw my switchback coming. He fully defended the inside. We were side by side. Like in real life, this is sometimes an easy move around the outside. Especially like here when Taha really went just like... He defended the inside. He expected to defend the exit on the outside, on the inside. And I wanted to go for a switchback, but I just didn't have the room to do it. If I carried more speed into there, I would be... And if I planned to go around the outside, I would be a bit more further ahead. But I would never be anywhere close to be eligible to like go side by side or around him into there. And that was a fair move from the Toyota. Alright, well, I guess that's it for now. GG Daniele, you got the podium in the end. Oh, did you do that on a strategy or was it overtake? And yeah, tire warmers, of course. But it still felt like the tires were a bit... Maybe it was cold brakes or something. But yeah, 100% state of charge. Thank you, Yankesh. Was it a nice fight for the win in the end here as well? Now the replay is getting... Anyway. Before the replay crashes my game, I'll quickly check the ratings and call it a day. And then check if there is already a new schedule for tomorrow. +7, that's alright. Getting closer to that G2 on the DR. Looking forward. Alright, Daniela. Well, I mean, I got the lead by the pit stop as well. Maybe there is something with the Toyotas, maybe they are just less efficient. Or maybe they both just like overfueled or something. But then again, I overfueled as well by a lap. Although it was close with extra lap. Weekly at Spa. It's already released. Let's see. Online status from September 17th. 2 times fuel use and tire wear. Ooh. And thank you guys for the subs. And that Streamlabs app still doesn't show me who subbed, so sorry for that. Although I could... it doesn't even show it for me in OBS. What's going on? I don't know. What do we have for the week, for the daily races? We have Corvette at Spa fixed, we have Sebring Oreca fixed, and we have LMDH fixed at Monza and Multiclass Open at Portimao with 2 times tire wear again. Oh, Dan went rogue this week. It's gonna be fun with actually like some proper tire wear. And with fuel use times 2, that usually means that lift and coasting is much more important. Because then each saved lap could be like 4 seconds or something like that. 100 minutes Spa. And that's gonna be fun. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm gonna enjoy that. With the BMW probably. I need to do some laps. And see how the car is. Well, anyway. Yeah, maybe it's part of the BOP, I don't know. I mean, I am... yeah, because the Toyota is actually quite fast, so the total energy could get restricted. So they are then shorter by a lap. Yeah, that's part of the... Well, it's not BOP, it's BO something else, right? Like, no, it's equivalence of technology, right? EOT. Was it something like that? Unlucky Yankish. Turn 5 on start, yeah. Well, I saw quite some LMP2 carnage at some point. One-stop strategy works. Yeah, LMP2s have less fuel tank. Okay, well, I think I'm calling this a day. Let's just check one more thing. I am failing to click that back to online button because it's not in that page. So sorry, Andy. Weekly. Wait, this one will be empty, right? Yeah, they throw me out of it because there is still this bug which shows the race you have just completed. If I go into here and into leaderboard, I will see my name only in P4. Yeah, there was space for 45.8 if I nailed the lap when the tires were in their prime. It's not easy. I don't know why, like the Peugeot is a nice car, but it still sometimes feels a bit disconnected in some corners. We will see how the BMW is. So, alright, well, that was some racing for today. It's a nice farewell for the time being for the Peugeot. Oh, nice sectors there, Daniele. Yes. Well, I don't know. Oh, Malich has nice sectors as well. But mine work. Maybe it's like it's bugged for the race that has just happened. For some, I don't know. That could be Daniele, yes, indeed. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, for the comments, for the subs, for the likes, much appreciated. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, let's see when I do the daily races. I want to check them out. Maybe tomorrow, maybe on Wednesday. Let's see how the week goes. Luckily, we will not get flooded here, but there is still some rain. So if there is rain, there is higher chance of me racing. Until then, yeah, as Mario says, laters all, have a nice day, nice evening, nice night. See you next time. Bye.